Howdy, it's Jim Arado, and we're in Franklin, Tennessee, March 2021. We're going towards and about to go into the factory at Franklin, Tennessee. Very, very cool use of old space. It's not huge. I would definitely call it a mall, but it's more kind of more in line with the kind of an independent place, or not quite a chain mall. You're not going to find a Spencer's here, and you're going to find some pretty cool, unique little shops. And yeah, we're going in there. Yeah, and this is just a short little video. I took a little bit of video outside and inside, and I took some pictures. But yeah, this is actually, this is us walking. There's kind of an upper area with offices. We walked up there. I think it's the kind of place they don't mind you roaming around a little bit as long as you're not causing trouble. But we're looking down on some shops there. Lots of neat little shops. Some of them weren't opened. Looks like there's some bikes here. It would be a great little place if you were, had a really good idea and you wanted to start out on a small scale. We were here several years ago at another time, and I remember some very different shops being here at that time. It seemed like there was a place that sold guitars back then. I did notice there was someone who did some really nice horse pictures that were cool. This lady, I talked to this lady for a little bit. She had some of those encased butterflies and spiders and bats that you see around sometimes. And she was telling us that there's, oh, and forgive me, I do not remember the country, but there's a family in another country that actually puts those together for her specifically, and she sells them there. And they don't kill any animals. I think they find them when they're dead and then encase them, which I think is very respectable. And they had decent prices. If you were looking for something framed, they had decent prices on it. I know that's a bit of a controversial thing, but I like the fact that they weren't killing the critters before they sold them. There's a coffee shop over here I wanted to go into, but it was very, very crowded. It looked really cool though, and I hope to go back maybe next time. But yeah, it was, they had a little bit of a line going, so we didn't bother. And you can tell as you look around that this is an old factory. And let me read to you from the Franklin, Tennessee Wikipedia entry. One of the first major manufacturers to establish operations in the county was Dorch Stove Works, which operated a factory in Franklin in 1928. The factory was later developed as a Magic Chef factory, producing electric and gas ranges. Magic Chef was prominent in the Midwest from 1929. When the factory was closed due to extensive restructuring in the industry, the structure fell into disuse. The factory complex was restored in the late 1990s in an adaptation for offices, restaurants, retail, and event spaces. It is considered a model historic preservation adaptive reuse project. A little bit of a mouthful there, but yeah, it's a really cool place. When we were there last time, I remember eating at a restaurant that was nice, and it's obviously no longer there. So businesses do change here. There was also a really cool kind of big antique mall at the front when we were here last time. And that space has kind of been divided up into more shops. A lot of those little shop spaces, kind of like little stalls, and a lot of those were vacant when we were there. So hopefully those will fill up later. There's lots of neat, novel like there's a little ice cream place. We'll probably look over the edge when we get to it here in a moment. And there's a little ice cream place. And yeah, as you look around, you can tell this used to be a factory, and they've just really repurposed it nicely. And it's not huge. I mean, you could walk from the front to the back. If you took a brisk walk, I bet you could do it in 3 or 4 minutes. But there's neat little shops all around. A lot of people hanging out here, but it was very, I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say upscale, but it was very pleasant, and yeah, just a pleasant place to be. Oh, yeah, there was one shop. You couldn't go in and shop. You could see them from the window. They make these wonderful carousel animals. And, just the factory's worth a stop just to stop by and check out these creations. And that's the kind of thing, obviously, even if you don't own a carousel, that might be a nice centerpiece, to an over-the-top living room or something. But I just thought these were just great, and we spent quite a bit of time looking at these. I wish that place was open, though. I wish maybe that they had sold, if that, the artist that makes those, if there was a signed book, I would definitely buy a book with pictures of those in it. Franklin Juice Company, we didn't go in there, but obviously you've got some, again, unique and specialized places to grab some grub. Lots of little Nashville shops. We did see a couple shops selling the same kind of stuff you might find at any downtown Nashville shop. But that's okay. I mean, who doesn't want a postcard with a Ryman on it? If you're in Nashville, that's the kind of thing you want. I like the way this place is layered also. Oh, this was a neat place, and we meant to come back and try it, and we didn't get to. They were kind of making stuff right there, and at this moment they didn't have a crowd going, but we saw this place get kind of crowded later. Yeah, and that's another picture from the little store that sold the encased insects. Had some really spectacular butterfly displays. Oh, and we ate at, I believe it was called Mojo Burrito, which I believe is a Nashville chain, kind of a little Mexican chain. Yeah, and there's a picture on the inside. Had a couple of nice tacos and some chips and queso. Just a really nice place to grab lunch. I had 2 tacos, a drink, queso and chips. My wife had about the same thing. I want to say it was under $30 for really quality stuff. I mean, it was, we were definitely full. I could not have eaten a third taco if you paid me. Probably could have forced one down, but it was good food, and we took some of it back to our room. Yeah, there was a picture of one of my tacos. And, of course, they had all sorts of specialized tacos and stuff, and it was, we liked this place. And I would definitely go back. In fact, if we're in that area again, I would probably stop there just to go back and grab another taco here. But yeah, that's the factory of Franklin